Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. In my most recent video, I mentioned that it was time to do my 10,000 mile owner review. So I'm doing it now. I've owned my 24 Street Glide for 10 months, have 10,000 miles. So stay tuned and I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like about my 24 Harley Davidson Street Glide. Let me begin by telling you one thing I do like. I like the looks. I think they really did a good job with the looks. It's been out long enough, I'm sure most of you have seen it, but they redesigned the fairing, put the sportier fender off of the ST on there. They reshaped the gas tank, reshaped the saddlebags. You can tell I've added features to it. I've added the taller windshield, touring seat, tour pack, and some slip-on exhaust. I almost have the equivalent of a Street Glide Ultra. I'm still missing lower fairings, which I plan on adding, and rear crash bars. So I think they really did a good job with the design. I think it is a nice looking bike. Still looks very iconic. You can tell it's a Street Glide going down the road, but again, I think they did a really good job. So I would give it a high mark on looks. But now let me get on the bike and go for a little ride, and I'll tell you the other things I like and some of the things I don't like. So be sure and stay tuned. Well, if I sounded a little winded in that intro, it's because I was. I don't use my motorcycle jack very often, and it's kind of in the way in the carport. So I thought, well, I'll put it in the wheelbarrow and roll it around into the backyard to put it in the basement. Well, it's fairly heavy, and pulling the wheelbarrow around, I got a little winded. So if I sounded winded, I was. So what are the things I like about this bike? I've already mentioned looks. I think looks are important. I think generally speaking, we won't buy a motorcycle that we think is ugly. So I really like the look of the Street Glide. For me, comfort is a really big deal. I mean, this is a touring bike and I love to tour. I'll sometimes ride 400 miles, maybe a couple of states away, eat lunch, and come back home the same day. So I can do an 800-mile day easy, so I want to do it in comfort. And they did vastly improve the suspension on this Street Glide over the previous generation. I had a 19 model. I thought the suspension was horrific, so bad that I traded back for an Indian for the air shock. So they went from 2 inches of travel to 3 inches of travel on the rear shock. Say an inch, shouldn't make that big a deal, but I really think it did. And you can now adjust the preload on both the left side and the right side. They've for a long time had a knob on the left side you could turn, but now you can use a spanner wrench on the right side and fine-tune your suspension depending on if you have a tour pack or loaded down or have a passenger. That helped. The touring seat I put on here really helped with comfort as well. Another comfort thing is the fact that this motor has liquid cooled heads. So I really don't get any heat off the motor. I mean, I've had motorcycles that put off a lot of heat, not just at a red light, but going down the freeway. And this one, I mean, you think it gets a little warm in the summer at a red light, but nothing that really makes you feel uncomfortable. So the heat management is excellent on this motorcycle. Now I put the taller windshield on, and actually I look over it. The camera makes it look like I look through it. I don't. I look over it. But the taller windshield helped with wind fatigue. I've already mentioned I want to put lower fairings on the bike to help more with comfort and wind fatigue and keeping the cold off of you in the winter time. There goes a fellow biker. So comfort, I think it scores really high. It does not have the suspension that my previous Indian had. That previous Indian with the air shock had a better suspension, and that electric windshield was a better feature than just having this fixed windshield. But comfort is good. I love the looks. I think the comfort is good. Performance, oh my goodness, they really did a good job. It's got 130 foot-pounds of torque. That's reported torque at the crank, of course. But this thing will get up and scoot. Even in road mode, it'll go. And you put it in sport mode, my word. I get in the mountains, I put this thing in sport mode, and it is a blast. So performance is excellent. Features, maybe I have a love-hate relationship with this infotainment system, but the love part, the infotainment system is all digital. Speedometer, tach, I don't know if I can aim the camera down there where you can see the dash. Radio, of course, navigation's always been on the screen, but this huge massive screen, the tech has been great. They've added tire pressure monitoring system like I had on my Indian, and so I'm happy overall with the tech. I was a little concerned about not having analog gauges. I mean, if that screen goes down, you lose not just navigation, but you lose your speedometer, your tachometer, your gas gauge, you lose everything. But overall, I've been happy with the tech. You know, my concern is, 10 years down the road, how easy will it be to update it? I really don't know. So the tech is nice, the features, the comfort, the performance, the looks. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Okay, now the things I don't like. The radio. Over 60 miles an hour, the radio is pretty much useless. Now, putting the tall windshield on helped, but come on, Harley. These bikes are expensive. They're touring bikes. I know a lot of people say they listen to the radio with their headset built into their helmet, which is fine if you like to do that. I still like external speakers. I'm very disappointed with the volume. Now, running around in town, it sounds good. Let me make sure I don't have it where you can hear it. Running around in town, the radio sounds very good. It's crisp, it's clear. It's just not loud enough. So looks like I have to invest in the amplifier and the upgraded speakers. You're talking another $1,000, not counting labor. Unhappy with the radio. The location of the horn button. I've made reference to this before. I can't reach it where I normally put my hand on the grips, because they put the horn on the far end of the blinker button. However, I did figure out, if I put my thumb underneath the blinker button, which you can do on these newer ones, and push toward myself, I don't know if I can get my camera aiming down there, then it honks. So I thought, man, I can't ride with my thumb on the horn because I can't reach it. And in traffic on the interstate, I like to ride with my hand on the thumb, my thumb on the horn button. Well, I can ride with it just under that blinker stalk, and so I can effectively hook the horn, honk the horn. But muscle memory, I'm still trying to learn to do that. I still want to push these other buttons in an emergency braking situation. So I really just wish they'd go ahead and move the horn button to one of these other buttons. So I don't care for the radio, the horn location. One other thing, I don't like the fact that in 10 months, my motorcycle has been in the shop 4 times for warranty work. Matter of fact, my previous video, I addressed how many times my bike has been in the shop in 10 months and for what reasons. And if you didn't see that video, I'll just give you a quick rundown. The first 3 months, all 3 repairs had to do with the infotainment system. After, I don't know, a month and a half or so of ownership, the radio stopped working. I took it in, they did an update. Working again. I brought it home within, I don't remember, a couple of weeks to a month. It stopped working again. Took it back. They said it was amplifier related. I think they did another update. Radio started working fine. Well, it wasn't 2 weeks later the navigation quit. I bought the $350 Harley Davidson embedded navigation in the infotainment system. My bike was at the dealership almost a week. They could not get the navigation to wake up and work again. Now, I have to say, with this warranty issues, I've had great customer service. In the case with my infotainment system, the corporate rep was in several times that week, and you know, after a few days of not being able to get it to work, the corporate rep just told them just order a whole new head unit. So I got a whole new infotainment system. That was at 3 months of ownership. I'm at 10 months of ownership, and no more problems out of the navigation, out of the infotainment system. And I hope that'll be true from now on. But about the time I get ready to take my bike in for the 10,000 mile service, this little upside down yellow triangle, or looks like an upside down yield sign to me with an exclamation point in the middle, came on, and they put it on their machine. Said, I think they said it was a cam position sensor that was bad. So then after that, now they ordered the sensor. Well, then after that, the next day I'm out with the Harley owners group on a ride, and it bogged down to about 2,000 RPMs, wouldn't go much above 2,000 RPMs, would not drop below 2,000 RPMs. Fortunately, I was less than 20 miles from the house. I was able to limp it on home, and it was probably an hour or so before I got my trailer hooked up to the truck to trailer it to the dealership. And when I got ready to pull it up on the trailer, it was running fine at that time, but the check engine light was on, and I didn't want to risk it. So I went ahead and put it on the trailer, trailered it to the dealership. Took them 3 days or so for the part to come in, and I picked it up the next day, which is today. I picked the bike up today, and right now it's running fine. No warning indicator lights. What made the sensor go bad? Was it a bad sensor to begin with? Who knows? You know, these newer bikes have all kinds of sensors, and you know, when they fail, it can throw things off. Now on that Harley ride, one of my buddies followed me home, but I was able to get it home, so I wasn't actually left on the side of the road. But I got to tell you, 4 times in 10 months to go in for warranty work is a little unsettling. I mean, it's under full warranty. It will be for another year and 2 months. Maybe I'll buy the extended Harley service contract. That's if I keep it. You know, if I keep having issues with a bike and lose confidence, sometimes I get a wild hair and I trade it. You know, I don't want to be 400 miles from home, 600, 1,000 miles from home, 1,200 miles from home, and it break down. Now, Harley's good about getting you back on the road if you do break down at the dealership, but they got to have the part. If they have the part, they'll fix it immediately and get you back on the road. If they have to order the part, well, then you're looking at maybe 3 days or so to get the part. So those are the things I don't like. I gave up multiple features when I traded, but the bike I traded in had 60-something thousand miles on it, and it was the kind of the top of the line Indian, where the top of the line Harley would have been the Ultra Limited, which they no longer make, by the way. You can get a Street Glide Limited, but it doesn't quite have the features that an Ultra Limited had. So I gave up some features when I bought this bike or traded, but overall I really do like this bike. Now, I do miss some of the Indian features. I desperately miss the electric windshield, the heated seat, the air shock, which you can add. Well, you can't add the electric windshield. You could add a heated seat and better suspension to this one, but yeah, there are clearly things I miss, and to be honest, sometimes I think about trading back. Now, in a year, my truck will be paid off. That's the only vehicle that I have that has a payment. So if I'm smart, I'll wait a year, pay off my truck, and buy another Indian and keep my Harley and have the best of both worlds. But I'm not always patient, and again, 4 times to go in the shop in 10 months is a little unsettling. But overall, it's a great bike, and I have to tell you, I've always had good customer service with Harley Davidson after the sale. I mean, they all fall all over you to make a sale, But service after the sale is important, especially if you're going to crush big miles on a motorcycle. So those are the things I like and don't like. If you have purchased a new motorcycle lately, or even have one you've had for years, you know, what are the things you like most about your motorcycle? What are the things you dislike the most? Be sure and leave those in the comments. If you have a 24 Street Glide or Road Glide, or newer, or even the 23 CVO, be sure and comment below if you've had any issues you haven't. I posted my recent video on a couple of Facebook sites about my multiple issues in 10 months, and there were tons of people that commented that they haven't had any issues. You know, so often we hear from the ones that are unhappy, we don't hear from the ones that are. And overall, I'm not unhappy, I'm just a little unsettled. I was hoping, you know, at least the first year, really you hope no issues at all ever, but anything mechanical can have issues. But so anyway, that's what I like and what I don't like about my Harley Davidson Street Glide. And I think these long-term reviews are much better than a test ride or even a short-term review. So if you like to ride as much as you can, because one day we're all going to be too old to ride.